Hello and welcome. In this lecture we're going to be looking at how we can get the rotation of our camera and apply that to the spawned projectiles. So as I rotate my camera around, you can see the projectiles are being rotated in the same direction. So you'll notice that there is a rotation that we can put into our projectile. Now, this may be the start of helping us rotate the direction of travel of that projectile. We can use some information from the projectile later on to actually set our impulse in the correct direction. However, it's currently really hard to tell which way our projectile is rotated because it's entirely spherical. So let's open up the BP projectile class and go to our static mesh component and go up right to the top where it has the transform scale property. And let's just increase the scale along the X direction. A value of about 2 should do the trick. You can see that it becomes this kind of deformed sphere instead. And if we go ahead and play and shoot this sphere, you can see that the direction that it's traveling in is pretty much that's the direction of the sphere. And so we can see whether our rotation is having any effect when we spawn it. So let's go over to the level blueprint. And the most logical thing to do would be to say, okay, let's go ahead and get the rotation of the player pawn. So let's drag off the player pawn reference node that comes out of get player pawn. And let's look for rotation. And sure enough, we can use get actor rotation. That seems to match with get actor location. It returns a rotator, so this seems to fit. And we can drag that into our spawn transform rotation pin of the spawn actor node. But if we go ahead and play this and we shoot off in different directions, you will actually notice that basically the projectile is not rotating at all. Now, the reason for this is that if we go in and hit play and then instantly eject, so using F8, and have a look at our pawn, we can have a look at the pawn's rotation in the details pane. So we can click on the pawn, go to the details pane, have a look at the transform rotation property, and you can see that it's rotated 180 degrees about the Z-axis, but that's the only rotation we've got there. So what happens if I repossess the pawn, which I can do from the toolbar right at the top? There is a little controller button, or I can hit F8 to jump back into the pawn's shoes. What happens if I rotate 180 degrees round? I would expect my rotation to reflect that. So I hit F8 again, I jump out and select the default pawn, and I have a look at its details pane. But you can see its rotation hasn't updated. And that's because by default, this default pawn in Unreal isn't configured to rotate with the camera rotation. Those are two separate things. For whatever reason, it doesn't particularly matter. But what is important is that there is something that does reflect that rotation, and that is called the control rotation. So you can drag off of the get player pawn node and you can search for control rotation instead, and you can see there is a get control rotation node. So I'd like to challenge you to try that node out. Try the control rotation. Replace the get actor rotation node and plug in to the spawn node and see whether it has any effect when you play in the game. Do those projectiles point in a different direction? Pause the video and have a go. Okay, welcome back. So let's delete our get actor rotation, pull off of the get player pawn node and search for get control rotation and bring that node in. And you can see the output is again a rotator. Hopefully this time the value will be correct, however. So let's get that rotator and connect it up to our input for the spawn actor. We can go ahead and hit play. And now if I change the way I'm looking, you can see that these projectiles are flying off a little bit sideways. Now they're not traveling in the direction of their rotation. That we're going to sort out in the upcoming lectures, but this is a first step. We now know what that direction should be. I'll see you in the next lecture.